Hello friends, welcome to Salesforce 𝐬𝐢𝐳𝒕𝒊𝒗𝒂𝒍𝒖𝒆 video session 97. So basically in today's video we will just continue from where we left off. We will understand a few more multi-value functions like size, array, join. So anyways, let's completely jump back to this part what we left off earlier. Here if we go to Analytics Studio and if we go to that lens section which we created earlier. Now, what interesting to find over here is I think I didn't save something. So let me also select this multi-value. And as you can see here, I have put one filter for morning. Okay, that is great. Now, so if I open this once again in this dataset form, so here the thing is that if I go for something like shift preference, okay, and I can filter it out from here. That is, the multi-value. For example, if I just want morning, okay, so I'm able to see all the data. So basically, let me bring the customer as well. I'm able to see all those customer names, who are preferring the morning shift. Okay, so that morning shift preference, all the customers I can see over there, which is fine. Now, the question is, let's say my client is saying that, hey, Avinash, I want to see that information, like what are the other shift preferences they have. Okay, and the only problem is like here, I'm able to see the information, but I'm just able to see the spaces I want to see in terms of. So I want to see a delimiter. For example, it is currently showing as morning space, afternoon space, evening, morning space, evening. We should see like morning, comma, afternoon, comma, evening, something related to that manner. Okay. So that is something which is the requirement. And also if I bring the multi-value over here, I can just say that morning. That's fine, not an issue. So now how to deal with such kind of requirements. So how I can bring that comma and how we can resolve this. Right? So for that case, what we will do is we will jump right back to that recipe. And for now, let me just save this as let me save it in my recipe. That's fine. Now what I will do is I will quickly jump back to that recipe which we were doing. Now here, if you see, like I am not getting all the other details. For example, if I just remove the filter, right? So as you can see, I have certain blank preference as well. So what are those preferences where they like I don't have any shift. Like there are many customers who have not updated their shift preference. What if I need to see those things? And as I told you, if the client wants to see the information in terms of a delimiter, let's say comma, because right now it's like saying that two words are like it's two words being put together. So there's a delimiter is the client words. Okay. Since that's kind of similar, what we can do is again we will come back to this transform mode. So there's a function which we have. First of all, let's understand that. So let me just go to shift preference and let me go to first time formula. Let me jump back. Let me straight away jump back to this multi-functions. So, we have something called a size. First, let's read it. Of course, let me just insert it at the top as well. And at the same time, let me read what is the meaning of this. Okay. So as you can see here, size of MV field. So basically, we put a multi-value field under size. Okay. And it's returned the number of elements in the multi-value. If the multi-value is none, it returns -1. Now, what does that mean is, for example, this is the shift preference multi-value is no multi-value field. Now, if you see here, what are the values which we have? We have morning, afternoon, evening. These are the three cells. In other way, these are the three cells which are, separated by the delimiter comma. Okay. So these three cells, so if I go for that size, it will return as 3. Okay. Similarly, here we have morning, comma, afternoon, it will return me as 2. Fine. And here we have afternoon, evening, it will return me as 2. And similarly here, for example, you see this one has morning, so it will return me as 1. Now, wherever it is blank, right? If it is blank, it will return me as -1. That's it. Okay. So what we will do is we will just write as shift preference. So, so first of all, let me put that field, which is this one, shift preference multi-value. And here I will just write shift preference, for example, size. Okay. So maybe I can write something like that. shift preference, shift preference size. Okay, and this one will be of course number. And keep editing. Let me click on apply. Okay. Now, if you notice over here, as I told you earlier, if it has three cells over here for this multiple, it is showing us three. When it is two, when it is one, it is one. But however, only for blank, it is showing us minus one. So as we read it over there in the function, if it is a blank, it will show us minus one and zero. Okay, so that is something you have to keep in mind. Now, basically, of course, like so, the problem is with the shift reference multiple. Although we can say it's like morning, evening, but that's not something which is not reflecting on the UI, right? So we already went through that. So it's not reflecting on the UI. The UI, like if I bring that multi-value, it will just populate that initial one. So whatever is the initial value, okay, the initial value will only get populated over here. Fine. Similarly, for example, let's say if I select evening also, okay. So as you can see here, like it will just populate me that particular value which is there. Fine. Uh, but that's not the thing which we want. We want to see the complete value and we want to see it segregated by comma. So that's the requirement for me. So how we will resolve this? We will just go ahead and check this once. So again, let me return back in this window. And here I will just now go for a case one statement. Okay. So what I will write here is, first of all, let me write over here something like, what can I write? Let's say I write publish. Okay, let me write as something like proper shift preference. That's fine. So, I don't know. Okay, so let's jump back over here. Let me do this. Proper shift preference. This will be text, of course, and I will write a case when statement. So case when I can directly refer this field, or otherwise I can directly, refer that function as well. So I can simply write shift preference size, or I can directly write, size of this can shift preference multiple. So let me just go for that function so that we can write that at one go, size of shift preference multi-value when it is equal to -1. So then I will write it as missing. Okay. So it is missing, which is fine. Else, what I will write is basically I will combine. Okay. So all these shift preferences, I mean, this shift preferences value which we have, that will be combined. So we have a function called as array join. Okay. So first of all, let me read what is the meaning of this array join. So array join, it is saying that it converts the multi-value, okay, to a string. So for example, like if I come over here only, let's say for now, if I remove this preferences, okay. Now, even if you see here, like it is like coming as a separate row altogether over here, okay. And especially in the values table, like if you see in the values table, for example, I have this data over here, okay. That's not an issue. Now, if I go to this multi-value, okay, and let's say I select something like uh, afternoon, for example, okay. Now you see, basically here only the afternoon is coming up, okay, in this shift reference multi-value. And if I select something like evening, you see, although I've selected evening, but I get to see that here when I go for shift preference multi-value, it is also showing me afternoon. So what exactly is happening is it depends, like it's completely depends. Randomly, it might just take something in alphabetical order. Okay, so if you see shift preference multi-value, especially when we come to values table, I have morning evening, but it's taking me evening because alphabetically that E comes first. Okay. Similarly here for morning evening, it's basically it's displaying the evening part. Okay. Reason being, like alphabetically E comes first. Okay. So randomly it will just pick up the word which is in alphabetical order when we go for the shift preference multi-value. Okay. So that's the problem like randomly it will show any one of the text, but we want to combine all the text. Okay, we want to see all the text in the chart mode, because right now it will show me separate in this now. This is not something I want. Fine, this will be rather confuse my plans much more. So here it converts the multi-value to a string with elements separated by specific delimiter, and the delimiter we will put it as comma, not an issue. So here, let me first insert this. I will utilize this array join, and as you can see here, I am getting this thing. So what is that MV field which I will utilize? That MV field is nothing but this one, that is shift preference multi-value. So I will go for shift preference multi-value, and how I will put the delimiter, let me put the delimiter as comma itself. So what I will write is, I will write comma and a space. I will just ensure that a particular space is there after comma, so that it becomes a bit neat, and I will just write end. Okay, so that's it. Now if you can apply. Now, if you see in the previous section only, basically, like this particular shift preference, right? Which on the UI, I mean, of course, here it is showing us comma space, but when you come to the dataset part, it only shows one of the values is in the values table, of course. Fine. And of course, when you go for chat, it separately kind of just add up the rows. I mean, separately segregates into rows as we saw over here. Okay. So then if I come back over here, this is something we are seeing. The values is showing one of the values, and here it is just segregating in this mode. Now, basically with this field, what will happen? We will get that comma portion as well. And this is something we are getting in text, of course. Okay, that's why we mark it as text. So that's the meaning of this add a join, if you see. Okay. So just remember this part of array join functions, fine, that it converts the multi-values to a string, and that is what I got right now. Now with this one, what we can do is we can of course go for save and run. And in the meanwhile, I hope these data sets are also saved. So let me just save this as of now. I'll put it this one. And now, of course, let us monitor this section. So of course, this ran successfully. Now, again, if I come back over here and refresh this. Now, if you see, although I have the shift preference as evening, now to see the proper data, what I will do, I will bring this proper shift preference, and right now, if you see in the values table, it is showing me the proper in textual format, okay, with the proper delimiter comma being put over there, fine. So right now I have this properly, this multi-value, I have it in a textual format, that is dimension format or text format rather, we can say, and with the appropriate delimiter comma. And if I go to the next one, which I was showing you in chart mode, now here, of course, we are having like segregated into three, which is not something we want. The client wants to see the proper information as a delimiter comma. So here I will just bring the proper shift preference, and as you can see, it is now currently showing up me properly over here. So for contact one, okay, if I want, I can filter out with certain things. So for filtering, the multi-value works perfectly fine. You can filter out for that one particular row. But definitely to see in a particular row, you have to, with a proper delimiter, you have to kind of play around with these functions of array join and all those things which I just showed you. So now again, if I go for shift preference and if I select, let's say evening, so basically it is definitely showing me all those contacts which are there, those work preferences evening, but at the same time, I'm also able to see the complete list of work preference. Okay. So that's a good thing. So what happens is in this way, the client, like if he understands that there is certain people who are having two preferences, then definitely they need to join in the evening time. Okay. So, but there are specific slots where certain people can only work. Then what they can do is they can check if there are other people who have mentioned multiple options. For example, contact one is flexible for multiple options. So, if the evening slot doesn't work out, if the evening slot is full, then that person can be shifted to that afternoon slot. Okay. So in this way it helps, and this is the way we can actually check it. We have got in that multi-value, and one particular or you will be able to see all the values rather than getting it in a segregation of different values when we deal with this multi-value. So yeah, I hope this point is clear, where we walk through the meaning of size. Important point to remember is when it is null, it is as -1, and what about this array join, array underscore join function, which we understood. So yeah, that's it about this. Please do like, share, and subscribe, and until then, let's meet. very soon in the next video. Thank you.